Hello, happy full moon in Aries. Our reading today is going to center around what this full moon is giving you the courage to allow into your life and the courage to move away from, how your alignment is shifting, and the ways that you are coming more deeply into your soul path and purpose. The full moon in Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is in Scorpio right now. And it's going to be Scorpio season. I mean, we have a couple weeks, but it's basically here. So there's a lot of intensity, death, rebirth, and transformation. And I'm excited to see what we get into. I'm also going to be doing a relationship reading for premium members. So if you found me on YouTube, that's going to be linked on my Substack. And if you're on Substack, that'll be down below. This relationship reading is focused around a lot of shifts that have been taking place this year and going into early next year with soul groups and soul mates. As always, I heavily recommend Molly McCord's astrological updates. I listen to her podcast to give me an idea of what questions to ask when we have astrological readings, so for the moons and for the seasonal shifts. And so she has a really great new episode about soul families and soul mates shifting just because of the immense influx of new energy we've had. All of the major planets have shifted through the 0 degree point, so they've shifted into new signs this year, except for I think there's one of them that didn't. I don't remember which one it is. So there's been massive clear outs, massive change, and there's no one left behind. But if you are on a path of rapid transformation and development, there are also shifts and changes happening with the groups of people that you're called into service with, and the company you're keeping. And if you're someone who learns and knows that your path of development involves deep transformational container with healthy boundaries to allow depth and merging soulmate kind of love, then this will apply to you. And if you want that, then you can know that that is part of your soul's path. So that will be the reading down below. Let's get into our reading for today. First, we are going to ask what this full moon is illuminating about how you practice relationship. So what is this full moon illuminating about how you practice relationship? We're also still in Libra season. I know I'm rushing Scorpio season because it's my rising sign and I love it. Okay. But, so a large part of the inspiration for these questions is also drawn from this being Libra season, which is about how we balance relationally. Okay, we have the 8 of Wands, the 4 of Swords, the 4 of Cups, the 5 of Swords, the 4 of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles on the bottom. Interesting. So this full moon is illuminating how you practice relationship. So the 8 of Wands is about really fast moving, fiery energy. It's often traditionally associated with incoming communication, and sometimes, the official booklet that comes with the Rider-Waite tarot deck, the man who did this version of the tarot that we all know and are familiar with, called the 8 of Wands the Arrows of Love. So we have really fast moving communication here. And then we have the 4 of Swords, which is wait a minute. No. We also have the 4 of Cups, which if you watched my last reading, you know a lot about already. But it's about an energy of boredom, dissatisfaction, and there is this this fourth cup that is the Ace of Cups that is being offered by the divine hand here. So it feels like you're balancing the ways that you practice relationship. Maybe you're someone who has traditionally been very fiery and very much like a go-getter, like, let's do this, let's figure it out, like, what's going on here? And that in and of itself is not a negative thing, but that part of you is being balanced with this energy of rest and contemplation and like evaluation. So the swords, you know, they're about mental, they're like mental acuity, our mind, our thoughts. And so we have this fiery energy that's very quickly moving. And then this energy of like pause and assessment. And then with the Four of Cups, interesting also that we got 8, 4, and 4. That is interesting. Okay, yeah, so this is a very clear message of balancing this like desire to cut straight to the heart of things and move very quickly as far as like not dicing words. You know, like let's talk about this. Let's figure it out. With this pause and stillness, and also this another like element of contemplation with emotions here. So this Four of Cups is coming through as like really evaluating the emotional state that you have been in, and then this new perspective coming in of like, this is really feeling like something I've been writing about recently, and I have a new, like, it's stewing, it's coming. But the idea of like kinking longing and desire when it feels like things are moving really slowly. So, and which is all very like Libra coded, because we're doing this balancing act of like a healthy amount of fire and forward movement with a healthy amount of contemplation and looking at the things that are not feeling like they're serving. So both contemplation of, you know, just generally contemplation in a very restful sense, and contemplation in a sense of being willing to look at what you're not enjoying. So both pleasurable rest and rest that feels like you're moving through molasses. So a lot of balance here in your the ways that you're practicing relationship. And then we have the Five of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles. So the Five of Swords is like a no-win situation. So this feels like fear around vulnerability. So as you're balancing this, like, okay, yes. So you're balancing this fiery impulse to just like blurt things out, like get it over with, get everything out in the open, and the stillness and the contemplation. This balancing is coming from you confronting these past patterns and fears of relationship being a battlefield where nobody wins. So this person is like the victor in a traditional sense, but like the whole point of the Five of Swords is that like there is no, even the one who won is like, it's not a celebration. It's not a celebratory victory. It's not like the Six of Wands where there's recognition and an achievement. And the Four of Pentacles, so again, this is like, these are swords, so it's what's going on in your mind. And there's also this reference to the Three of Swords here and the Two of Swords laying on the ground. So the Two of Swords is, you know, the energy of like being at an impasse. So the Two of Swords have been thrown down, but at what cost? This person has taken up these Three Swords, which references the Three of Swords, which is like heartbreak and betrayal. So this is positive in the sense that you are taking responsibility for the heartbreak and the betrayal that have been seeded as your past patterns. So your dynamics of triangulation and family patterns, family of origin. And the Four of Pentacles is, earth energy, physical, like you can see that this person has blocked off their heart here, and their crown chakra is blocked off, their feet are blocked off. And so it's like they are feeling grounded in a very like stubborn and stuck way. So this balance that you're doing is coming from, like I said, you confronting these patterns of feeling like no matter what move you make in relationship, things will always end badly, essentially, like nobody actually wins. And as a result of that, feeling really blocked up and like just too closed off, essentially. And confronting both of these energies and patterns in your life is putting you in your Queen of Pentacles energy, which is like the embodiment of sensuality and eros and like the pleasures of being in a physical reality, abundance and resource, but in a very grounded, sensual way. So the way that you're practicing relationship is coming into this really, this really incredible balance, because you're doing this work with your past patterns. It's bringing you into more like centered, grounded energy where joy and pleasure are your priority. So, and joy here is what is helping you release these past patterns in relationship. So joy is the like driving force here for you. What is this full moon giving you new courage for? So, of course, Aries is the first sign of the astrological wheel of the year. I always think of the Sun card. I think the Emperor is officially Aries, but it's I always think of the Sun because it's like we're starting over, and there's that naked innocent baby on the Sun card, and it's very Apollonian energy, so Apollo being like the golden child, which is like just so Aries coded. Why was I talking about that? Oh, so the courage, and this courage is coming from like seeing yourself as innocent and new, and that's again why I connected to Aries, because it's a baby. So your courage is coming from a place of, again, like very on par with the joy and the enjoyment and pleasure of the Queen of Pentacles. So what is this Aries energy giving you new courage for? We got the Five of Swords again, the Tower, and the Hermit. So, like I was saying before with the Five of Swords, I mean, this is so beautiful. You're being given the courage to let these beliefs about loss and defeat come tumbling down and like tearing down these illusions, because the Five of Swords is an illusion. You have this pattern because someone else gave it to you when you were too young to have any kind of filter on, like, you didn't get to choose your beliefs. You didn't get to choose the patterns that you were given when you were born in your family of origin. And they're not the truth of who you are. So you're being given courage for this Tower moment, for this version of your reality built on the idea that there are no winners. There are no winners in love. To be torn down and to go internally. The Hermit with his little, like, the star and the lantern here. I like that nod to the star card. You know, the star is like our driving force, the thing that gives us hope after the tower, actually. It's chronologically comes after the tower. And so when you have just been, you feel like you've been totally fucked and everything's upside down, which tower moments don't always have to be that extreme. I hope at this point of your journey it's not. But especially early on, they can be really intense. So you are going inwards and illuminating your own internal landscape, and which is incredibly wise, and it is very courageous to take responsibility for your life and your reality in that way, by looking at what the reflections of what is external to you are showing you about the belief systems that you hold and the things that you think that you deserve or don't deserve. Like what that says about who you believe that you are and who you are in relationship with others. What do you need more of that you might not see right now? So as you're going through this tower moment, what do you need more of that you might not see? Okay, we got the King of Cups. So we also have the Nine of Swords on the bottom. And just because we were just talking about her, the star was underneath the Nine of Swords. And then the Queen of Cups. So, bitch, you're balanced. Okay, so what you need more of that you might not realize is this structure around your emotional landscape. And I like that the Queen of Cups was also right here for us, because this, again, like I was saying, balance. The King of Cups is directing his emotional energy, and of course, like, obligatory disclaimer that this is not about gender. It's just about energy and the lens of perspective that we use to approach polarity, which, you know, is an illusion, but it's fun to play with. It helps us make sense of the world. You know, we are embodied in a world of duality for a reason. It teaches us things. So, yeah, so he is on his throne here, and it's in the sea, but like this is a thick chunk of rock here. He is sitting very stable. He has his cup. There's this little fish in the background, which is imagination. It can also refer to like dream work. And as opposed to the Page of Cups, which has the fish in the cup and they're like looking at it, the fish is in the ocean, I guess, you know, you could say, where it belongs. So he is very structured with how he is navigating his emotional landscape, and not like over fixated on fantasy or imagination. And I honestly don't know what this thing is. I've never thought about it before. I'm gonna have to check my book and see. It looks like some sort of wand, but regardless. I really like that we also got the Queen, because this is about being embodied in your emotions. And the biggest key here is flow. So where the King of Cups is very structured and contained, the Queen is very much in flow. So these are such an important pair to balance out the ways that you navigate your emotional world. So you are fully feeling your emotions, but you're not you're not getting held up anywhere along the path. You're not staying overly long in grief or anger or even giddiness or joy, whatever. You are in flow with the energy that's around you, the energy that's inside of you. So what you need more of that you might not see is both of these things, like especially the structure for your emotions. Like maybe you have been like really on the side of feeling your feelings, which is absolutely something I will always like. We love that here. That's that's a positive. But if you like during this time with the Tower moment, and another thing that, again, like go listen to Molly's latest astrology episode about this week specifically. Like there's a lot of volatility around, and I don't remember the specifics enough to tell you why, but it has to do with this Aries energy, and Mars and Pluto, I think, are interacting. So there's a lot of like, there's a drive towards truth, but it's incredibly volatile, and can lean more on the side of like a confession that is maybe more like selfishly motivated, and like an attachment to needing someone to hear you or receive you in a certain way. So that feels, and again with this Nine of Swords, feels really relevant here. Yeah, to balance out this energy of like having all of these anxieties hanging over your head, and like insomnia. This can, in one deck that I have, is referred to as prophetic dreams, which I like to mention. And I mean, I always like to mention dream work, of course, as a way to like receive the wisdom of your subconscious without egoic interference. And then, you know, just the star here, just because we mentioned her before and she was right here for us. And like always such a beautiful pairing with the Tower to remind you that anything that you're going through, especially in your darkest moments, like you always have this light to lean on. Yeah, and this like divine inspiration and calling from your soul to, like, if that's the only thing that's keeping you going, just cling to that. I have been in that position many times. So reminding you to like return to your inspiration and your vision as often as you need to, if this volatile time and this Tower moment is like really like is rough for you. What energy leaks are happening or may be happening that you're not aware of? So are there any? I don't want to say for sure that there are, but tell us about any leaks in energy. And this will also help you moving through this Tower moment. Five of Swords again. Yeah, because if you have a good feel for where your energy is going, you know, you're gonna need it. Like it's for you, not for external influences or anything sneaky. Okay, I feel like I'm just trailing off with that. Okay, so we have the Page of Swords, the Empress, the King of Swords, and the Five of Swords. So what energy, or are there energy leaks happening that you're not aware of? Okay, so the Page of Swords can be like kind of a watchful energy. And the Page of Swords with the Empress here kind of feels like, you know, maybe there is a little bit of comparison or maybe overinvestment in keeping tabs on, it doesn't just have to be a feminine person. That would be the like simplest read of this. Like maybe there's someone that you're keeping tabs on or you have an eye on, and you can redirect that energy, like not shame yourself for it, and not suppress that urge, but bring it back to yourself and ask what that's saying about you. You know, like, why are you so invested? Why are you keeping tabs on this person? Again, that's surface level. It might not even be a specific person for you. It could just be this maybe like hyper vigilant, what word am I trying to think of? So the Page of Swords is like, can be a curiosity, but it's a very youthful, it's a less mature energy. So this is kind of feeling maybe like over analyzation. Is that a word? Over analyzing this Empress energy to try to like micromanage, because it feels like something you want in your life, you know, whether you're projecting that onto an external person or it's something that you want for yourself. I mean, whether or not you're aware of projecting it onto someone else, if you're looking at it in someone else, it's something that's inside of you. And so that's something that you're like you have and you're wanting to see in yourself, and maybe you're not aware that you have that energy as well. The Page of Swords is also looking, for you, he's looking this way, but in relation to the other cards, they're looking this way, which for me is the past. So this could be leaking energy towards like a time when you did feel like you had this Empress energy. So again, this could be referring to a specific person because there's a lot of like relationship themes coming up in this reading. Or it could be your relationship to yourself. It could be your relationship to the earth. And what's even coming through here, I mean, take this if it's for you. This theme is really specific, but like kind of a longing for a time when our connection to the earth was simpler and more beautiful. Before, you know, it's really easy to get really bogged down and heavy about all of the ways that our disregard for the feminine is reflected in how we as a whole are treating the earth. And yeah, it's really easy to be overwhelmed by those systems and like the enormity. It can feel so enormous of like, how the fuck are we gonna fix this? So again, take that as it resonates, but this could also be the energy of looking back at like, oh man, things were so much better in this mystical idea of the past we have, where humans lived in relationship with the earth. And so if that's something that you are hyper focused on, it's leaking energy and not serving you in creating that vision of the relationship that you have with your environment and with nature that you do want to see more of in the world. Okay, King of Swords and the Five of Swords as an energy leak. So I mean, this feels like we keep getting the Five of Swords. So it feels like this, I mean, this is so significant for you right now, this idea of defeat. And again, this is in your mind. Which is not to say it's not real, but it does mean that you have authority here over what you're choosing to focus on and the way that you're choosing to, the way that you're choosing to perceive and the beliefs that you hold. So it really feels like, I don't know, this feels kind of encouraging to me that like you are in this masculine structured like directive energy, and it's just a little like, hey, by the way, don't let this Five of Swords, acknowledge it if it's there, hold compassion and space for it. For you, for the part of yourself that is, you know, maybe feeling consumed by this, and just notice this so that it's not becoming something that you're overly like, that's taking too much of your energy. So what are you aligning with relationally right now? We've talked about what you're seeing now, what's being illuminated about how you practice relationship, like the balance that's coming through. We talked about what you're having courage for and what you might not be seeing, including the leaks that are happening. So all of that coming together is aligning you with a template relationally and a way of being. So what is this alignment? And it's not, might not necessarily, like, the way that I worded this and the way the energy feels is not like some, it's not like a grand new, well, I don't know, I shouldn't say that. It could be a big shift for you actually with the Tower. Yeah, I take that back. So just what are you shifting into alignment with? Okay, we have the Five of Cups, the Four of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, and then the King of Swords on the bottom. This kind of, it feels like you're locking in. You're aligning with your own sovereignty. Yeah, I mean, you're grieving this, you're grieving the Three Cups. You've moved from the Four of Cups that you were balancing in the way that you practice relationship to the Five of Cups. So allowing this energy to move and releasing these Three Cups that are no longer serving you, that are no longer in your experience, or allowing them to move out of your experience rather than staying, like this is healthy grieving. And these Two Cups are still here. So your internal union, your external, like soul level relationships. This is, there's a river here. I mean, this is about movement. And aligning with the Four of Pentacles. So it feels like these together, the Four of Pentacles is more of a healthy, like, reclamation over, like, rather than being kind of a stagnancy like we talked about before. This is like a healthy reclamation of boundaries and stability. Because, I mean, these pentacles are your energy. You get to choose you get to choose what the vibe is, right? So, especially with this Nine of Pentacles and the King of Swords, you're recommitting to your purpose and your mission. And like I said before, your sovereignty, which is like so incredibly healthy. And this feels like it's part of your Tower moment too. So incredibly healthy to be continually reminded of and refocusing on why you're here, and which is, ultimately, like, big picture, your purpose is to be you. So if you don't feel like you have, a clear answer for what your purpose is, like it doesn't feel like a tangible thing, you existing in this moment as yourself is like, yes, there will be more specifics and you'll find illumination around like what your path is moment to moment. But like, it's enough to just be you and exist. That's like, you are integral to the whole. And so this is a recommitment to mourning the ways that maybe you have placed a relationship in a higher position than your own soul's path, which again, like, is going to include the things that you want, like this desire for intentional, supportive relationship that is part of your soul's path of growth. But you are not seeking it. You're no longer outsourcing your happiness or your timeline to finding this. And I mean, that is like, those boundaries are so powerful. And that's allowing you to be able to find or allow your joy and your pleasure to, like, you can receive joy and pleasure from those things, but it's not your source because you are, like, you're locked in. You are focused on what is most important, and yeah, you're not outsourcing your happiness or like your forward movement to anything external. So you're aligning with yourself relationally. You're aligning with your soul and your sovereignty, and that is the most powerful place you can be in, to call in all of the other like moving parts. And I don't even want to say pieces, because like, yeah, there are pieces that are coming to you, but like, other people are also whole sovereign beings. Like, they're not just little pieces in your story. Like, we're all threads weaving together. So that is powerful as fuck that you're aligning to this. What new passion are you committing to following despite feeling afraid? So we're being given courage with the full moon in Aries, because, it's the presence of courage inherently, what am I trying to say? There's fear here. Like, you can't be courageous without fear. So, what is, space out. Okay. What new passion are you committing to following despite this fear? So we have the Seven of Swords, the Three of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. And we have the Knight of Cups as well. So the Seven of Swords is about like secrecy and I want to say, the word that's coming up is not what I want to say. Intentionality is coming up, and that's not at all. Like planning in a sneaky way. I don't know why that word has escaped my brain right now. Like plotting. So the Seven of Swords, this person, it's broad daylight. They haven't even gotten all the swords. Like, they're not being super sneaky. And the Two Swords are up right here. So rather than on the Five of Swords, where the Two Swords were like cast away on the ground, and the person was claiming the Three Swords, this person is claiming the Five Swords. So essentially, like, this is, deceit is not leading to, it's leading to a no-win situation, and it's leaving this, like, the Two of Swords impasse behind. But like I said, it's broad daylight. Like, this person, they are sneaking off towards the past, but they're looking towards the future. So it's just this very, like, disjointed energy, but it's not a secret. Like, they're not actually being sneaky. It's broad daylight. So this can also be like strategizing, the lighter side. Like, everything I just described is more of the shadow side. It feels like this is representative of the fear, especially because we had the Five of Swords come up so many times, and this, they're holding the Five Swords here. They've left the two behind. So this person is creating a situation that has no positive outcomes. So despite this being like the outcome of your fear, if you were to choose that path, you are instead looking out at the horizon, so surveying your world here. And this is the ocean, even though it's yellow, the light is reflecting off of it. So this person has made investments. They have like put out directives, and their ships are all out to sea here. They're coming back. So their ships are coming in, but they haven't yet received them, so they don't know the outcome of the intentions that they've set, and you know, the orders that they've given, the passions that they have here. So this is a very committed card, in that, you know, like, again, it feels like you're buckling down, because this is like transitional energy, and it's like a surveying. It's not yet time for, like, nothing is coming to fruition here. It's like, yeah, it's an assessment. The Eight of Swords is about the chrysalis stage. So this is, yes, it can be like limiting beliefs and the ways that we hem ourselves in, and we have the power to free ourselves always. But this also can refer to like the stage of transformation where it does feel like you are trapped. It feels like you're hemmed in, but that is an essential part of the progression of your growth. Like, you know, the caterpillar builds a chrysalis. And this is like such a positive way also to see, rather than looking at this card and being like, well, it's your fault, like it's all in your head, like these limiting beliefs are within your control, which is true, but it's not a helpful tone to take with yourself. Seeing those as like, you have to, in order to grow, you have to have something to break through. And so this is just as much of a gift as any other part of the process, even though it does not feel like it when you're there. So I see you. Yeah, I mean, the chrysalis is what allows the caterpillar, gives the caterpillar structure to turn into goo and become the butterfly. And so this is, as far as the passion you're committing to following despite feeling afraid, you've moved from the Seven of Swords to like secrecy and deceit, and it is killing me that I cannot think of this word. It's like plotting, but there's a better word for it. I'll remember it after we're done. So you've moved from this energy, like this is the energy of your fear. Like this is the choice that your fear wants you to make, which is leading you down a dead end path. But instead you are taking a higher perspective, and that higher perspective is recommitting you to this being with the stage that you're at, where you're feeling like hemmed in and trapped, which again, like I've just already like talked about for a while, is what's building your strength in order for you to like emerge on the other side transformed, have your tower moment, which is the chrysalis breaking open. And then the Knight of Cups is like forward movement and vulnerability, and having this like this offer of your heart and of your feelings. Also, like this cup can speak to like Christ consciousness. So seeing this, and also is a callback to the Ace of Cups, which was significant on the Four of Cups card that we got in the beginning. So it's like not only the connection that you have within yourself, the illusions that you're blocked from that somehow falling away, this connection that you have to Christ consciousness, which, you know, if you don't resonate with that term, just like the overflowing, outpouring, like always available to you flow of divine love and like joy and that like heartful feeling. So this is not just you reconnecting to that, but also having it on offer for other people, like having the courage to come forward with this. I mean, this is such a drastically different energy than the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords. Like, this feels like the polar opposite of this, coming through despite feeling afraid, like not choosing this path, and coming through with this Cup instead. And that like idea of crusading as like, I don't know, violent missionaries essentially, but not violent in this case, just very like proactively opening your heart and offering love to others from a place of overflow and safety, like internal safety. So what fears are you facing? We got the Seven of Swords, and that was very illuminating, but let's investigate more specifically, like what fears you're being sneaky about. And like, I swear to God, if the Five of Swords comes out, that would be very helpful, actually. And we've seen a lot of this so far. Interesting. Ooh. This is a very relationship heavy reading. We've already established that. I am so interested to see what else comes in our premium reading that's specifically about if you have a relationship in mind. We're gonna get really juicy. Okay, so we're already getting juicy. Knight of Pentacles, the Tower, the Three of Pentacles, the Empress, and the Lovers. Bro. Okay, so what fears are you facing? Hold on. So the Knight of Pentacles is like a slow build. He is not one of the knights that's out crusading. He is at home, like treasuring this pentacle, this energy, and like physical representation of physical embodiment. And this knight knows that the process of devotion is not an overnight like sowing and reaping. This is a long-term, like building a steady, stable foundation. The Tower is some sort of illusion around this falling down. So, you're the fear that you're facing, first off, is like what it's going to take. Maybe this slow, steady stability is not something that you're familiar with. You didn't have the pleasure or like blessing of having this as a familiar part of your life, of your patterning. And so it might feel like really destabilizing to your nervous system to not have things moving like really quickly. Because it gives you a lot more time for your insecurities to come up and be like, wait a minute, is like, what is happening? Why is this taking so long? From the balancing we had in the first question, balancing of the Eight of Wands, the Four of Swords, Four of Cups, this is so on track with that. So there's a part of you that knows that the fear is an illusion, and it feels like part of your fear is like what you're going to learn as this illusion collapses, because the collapse of the fear around stability and like what it takes for to build long-term growth and success. What's on the other side of that fear is intimacy. So like, of course, you're experiencing fear around those illusions breaking down. Again, with the like Three of Pentacles building, like this is building up to the long-term like investment. And so this is like the earlier stages of being like connecting with collaborators and like having conversations about like plans and blueprints and yeah, I mean like where things are heading and whatever that looks like for you in your scenario. We will find more out about that. So fears around like, again, with this heavy stability and abundance and like long-term overflow of growth and success with the Empress here. And both like a dual fear of your own divine feminine nature, the mother, and, you know, perhaps this is reflected in a relationship for you. And then the fucking Lovers. Yeah, I mean, this is like a soul level choice. This is internal union above all else. The feminine, you know, feminine energetic principle focused on the divine here, the higher self and the soul, and then the masculine, being devoted to this and to her, to the divine feminine, and building that structure and container that allows her to maintain her connection to the higher self. Yeah, I mean, this is like a big fucking deal. This is this calling and this choice point like requires all of you to make to come into that wholeness. And it's not even like, there's no expectation here that like you make this choice and you're perfect, like you have everything perfectly together. This is just the call to like, no, I want this, I know this is for me, and I'm saying yes to this soul path despite how scared I am of it. God, that's beautiful. So this is our last question. And I want to say, like, totally, like, so much empathy and compassion here, and also like solidarity with you around, you know, like I said, like, this is a big fucking deal. Like, of course you're scared. Of course you have fears. But you have support as well. And it's also kind of like, you know, yeah, it's a choice, but like, you can't say no to that. Like, you have free will, and there are no wrong decisions. Like, it'll come back around in perfect timing. Like, your soul will keep calling you. But yeah. Okay, so what is supporting you when it comes to, oh my God, what is supporting you when it comes to these fears and moving despite them, moving through them? Okay. The Hermit, the Four of Pentacles again. Fours are so significant. The King of Pentacles, the King and Queen of Swords. Oh shit, no. The Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups. Okay, I'm glad I caught that. And then the Ace of Cups, which we've talked so much about. The Empress underneath that. But let's focus on what we've got. Okay, so what is supporting you again is, I mean, not to harp on it, but is this internal illumination. So going within, investigating your inner landscape, and these healthy boundaries, like supporting yourself with the stability that's available to you right now. So again, this isn't the energy of like, oh my God, it just left my brain. It's not the energy of stagnation. There it is. Not the energy of stagnation. You're not, especially because of the balance of the other cards we have here, you're not like closing your heart off, but you are being very intentional about what you allow in your energy. Doing this is supporting you on through this journey, this arc that you're moving through right now, relationally. The King of Pentacles is one of the most comfortable kings. I mean, the most comfortable king in the deck. All of the other ones are kind of like, there's a little sense of them being like, you know, yeah, I'm king now, but like I miss when I was a knight because I could like, there was more movement. And this guy is like so content. He has so much, like again, there's stability keeps coming up. But it's this sense of like really being so deeply embodied in the pleasure of like what's around you, what's available to you. And yes, this is abundance and you know, prosperity, but also like how are those energies available to you right now in your current experience of reality. So this isn't to say like if this is triggering you to be like, well, I would love to feel that way, but like I'm not abundant or prosperous. This king is not concerned with that. He is concerned with like celebrating what is already present for him. And that is like, that has compounding interest as far as joy and pleasure. Like the more you find it and invest in it and celebrate it, the more you have, regardless of your material circumstances. The Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups. Queen of Swords, so perfect. So perfect that we're closing out with her, because like I always say, if you've watched any of my other readings with her, she's got this tassel here in her arm. She has cut herself out of the Eight of Swords. So like she, and you know, butterflies, she's got butterflies on her crown, on her throne. Like she has transformed the way that she shapes her mental landscape and the way that her thoughts are shaping her reality. Yeah, I mean, like she is the queen of healthy boundaries. And then the Queen of Cups, like we've already talked about this flow. So the Queen of Swords is like so embodied in her discernment. And the Queen of Cups is so embodied in feeling her feelings and allowing them to come and like be present and then releasing them. And then of course, like, again, like could not have ended on a more beautiful card, the Ace of Cups, as your connection to the like overflowing love of divinity that is like woven into the fabric of reality. So again, especially if you don't feel this, like so many, I have been like aware of, and like the time that I've spent feeling this as truth is much smaller than the time I've spent feeling like, where the fuck is this? Why can't I access this? I know cognitively it's true, but I just want to feel this. And so this like devotion to knowing that this is the truth of who you are and the truth of reality, and using your Queen of Swords discernment to not let yourself be swayed by a feeling of lack, you know, or a feeling that like this is just out of your reach, knowing that this is always here for you. And yeah, I mean, this is your divine birthright. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I would love to hear from you how this resonates. And yeah, I am sending you so much love and healing on this full moon. And yeah, support around all of the energy we're moving through, all of the craziness. If you would like more illumination on a specific connection and go into more detail about the ways that relationship is being shaped in your life, and the ways that whatever this external connection is that is important to you is reflecting your internal landscape back to you, because it's that constant, like, I can't remember what it's called. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. If it's an infinity mirror where there's two mirrors across from each other, and another thing I'll probably write about eventually, but just that the way that we are internally shapes how we see external relationships, the way we experience them, and then that our experience of the external like stimulus and like whatever we're moving through in the physical reflects ourselves back to us. and the things that when we're able to be in intimacy with someone else and we're seeing them for who they really are, we're seeing beyond our projections onto them. The ways that they really are reflect back parts of ourselves to us, and then we reflect back onto them, and it's just yeah. So I guess my point with that was just how beautiful it is to be in relationship and regard the other as sovereign unto themselves, while knowing that there really is no other and no us. Yeah, it's just the ultimate paradox, and it's so wonderful and beautiful. And if that serves your growth and your inner journey, then stick around for a premium reading, because we're going to be going into more detail. So I'll talk to you soon. See you later. I love you so much.